This changed the landmark of Indian education. Yes, I am talking about the National Education Policy 2020. So hello guys and welcome back to my channel. This is Captain Som welcoming you to my YouTube channel. And yes guys, today we are going to do the analysis of the National Education Policy 2020, which has tried to bring a remarkable change in the Indian education system. And today I am going to try to explain you how this policy has actually worked and is it actually implementable. So guys, the national education policy that has been tried to get implemented, which has actually got implemented, and it is trying to bring a change in the criticized Indian education system. And as we all know that the Indian education system is one of the worst education systems in the whole world, because it is more based on the memorizing process, not on the practical application. So this new educational policy of 2020 has tried to change that system, and it has tried to make some remarkable changes which will really benefit the students and also the teachers, and also in practical the whole country will be benefited by this. So actually this NEP 2020 was really important because as we all know that the Indian education system, it hasn't been quite functioning very smoothly. There has been repetitive of syllabus, and there has been only the memorizing and the theoretical parts. There hasn't been any focus on the practical education system. So there have many times been faults, and many faults are actually still existing in the educational policy of India. Guys, if you want to know my opinion about the Indian education system that was there before this NEP 2020, so I'll give you a link in the description of another YouTube channel where I have discussed my opinions, so you can definitely go and check it out. So guys, what are the changes that have been brought in the NEP? So I'll now tell you what are the positives of National Education Policy 2020. So the first positive that comes out of the national education policy is that it has stopped the division of students in three streams that is mostly existing in India, and it has tried to make our education system more developed and more westernized. As you all know, in the Indian education system, after the 10th standard, you are been split into three streams, that is the commerce, arts and the science. But now this education policy has stopped this, because as we all know, if you have taken science stream or you have taken art stream, you have taken commerce stream, it is very difficult for you to change your stream, whereas actually your mind can change. Psychologically you can get interested in other subjects and you want to actually try them, so which is not possible, which wasn't actually possible in the Indian education system, but now it will be possible in the Indian education system, because you have more flexibility in choosing your subjects and there will be less restrictions on the choosing of your subjects. So this is the first positive, that the division that was there between three streams, that has been stopped. The second benefit that comes up, it has changed. Our current education system was 10+2 system of education. Now it has been changed, because now we are having a 5+3+3+4 type of education system. So what is this actual education system? I'll explain you. In the 10+2 format of education, the education would begin at 6 years of age, but now in this new educational policy, the education will actually start from 3 years of age. 3 to 6 years of age will be your preschool, then it will be first and the second standard, and first and the second standard will be only basic studies that are important for your future building. In the third to fifth standard, there will be playing and activity based learning, which is very important step, because that is a phase of your childhood where you actually inhabit your brain to activity and playing type of learning, which will be helpful in your upper standards, because as you have learned with the playing and activity format, so you will actually be able to recall when you go to the higher standards. Then from the 5th to the 8th standard, that is the experimental education. So in this you are going to carry different experiments out, like there are criticisms that there is only theoretical based learning, there is no practical learning. So like in subjects of science and the biology, chemistry, physics, there will be more experimental things that will be carried out from the 5th to 8th standard. And then is the 9th to 12th standard phase, that will be multidisciplinary phase, where you will be having more flexibility and you have flexibility in choosing your career, your stream. Very much flexibility is now available. So this is the second benefit, that it has divided the Indian education system, and it has provided that there is more flexibility in flexibility getting into that education system. The third benefit of this education system is that it has focused more on the vocational training, because this was very much criticized in India, because as you all know, in the jobs, whenever you go to a job interview, you always need vocational training to be very proper. So they have tried to implement vocational training in the national education policy of 2020. So these are the main positives of national educational policy 2020. Now we'll discuss some controversial steps that have been taken in this national education policy. So now I'll tell you some controversies of national education policy. Controversies of this national education policy are that there has been training till the 5th standard only in the regional languages, whereas it is not very clearly, or it is not a important rule that you should teach in the regional languages, but it is, I think it is actually a great step, because the regional language training can get you really closer to the local environment of the society. But many people think that for the international development, international forum, you should require foreign languages, and the English training should be inculcated from the first standard itself, which is also fact, and it is also correct, I believe. But I think this is a conflict that is happening, and this is a controversy, that should the schools teach in regional languages, or should the English language be continued in the schools. The second controversy is that there was less consultation of states, and the education system has been more centralized, which is actually good, because centralized education will provide equal education and equal opportunities for all students. But whereas states were not consulted, so the students currently in the state board formats, they actually believe that there has been anti-democratic procedure while making of the national education policy, and only the CBSE students were favored, whereas this is not the actual case. And the third most biggest controversy of this is that this system, as it feels very nice to listen, but many people, many experts think that this is only a theoretical concept, and it won't get practically implemented, or even for the practical implication, it will take a lot longer time than it is actually planned. So many experts think that this this education system won't last for a longer time, or might take a much longer time for implementation. So these are the controversies of the national education policy. Now let's discuss what is my opinion on the national education policy. So guys, I actually think that the national education policy that has been implemented, it's actually a very great initiative, because Indian education really needed certain kind of changes that should happen. You can actually debate that is this really beneficial, or is this really going to be beneficial, but I think in the coming future this will be really beneficial, and whenever it is implemented, it will be a huge asset for the students, because they will have more freedom of the choosing of their streams, their careers. And also I forgot to mention a thing, that the Indian government has also introduced MEEP, that is the multi-entry exit program. Now this program is actually meant that if you are in commerce, for example, and you actually want to go in science, and you want to study any other stream, and you want to drop out in the middle of your term, so whenever you drop out, the credits of the time period that you have learned in the commerce field will get transferred to the science, and this system actually exists in many Western countries. So this is a very great initiative taken by the Indian government to include this MEEP, which is also very important, and it has basically taken India to a very huge change, because vocational training and practical application, also experimental application, will be now very important in our education system. And the exam pressure that is there, the 10th and the 12th boards have got less importance, so which is also providing a less burden on the students, whereas this is, and it has shifted the Indian education system from the memorization part to the more experimental and the practical implication part. So I think this education system will be really beneficial in the upcoming future. And guys, if you have liked this video, please like this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting analysis on our channel. Thank you so much.